We Say What They Can't Radio.
Hello, everyone. I am Simone Goss, your host. Welcome to my very first podcast, What They Don't Tell You. This is a podcast for my married ladies, engaged ladies, and single looking to be married. This podcast is really to tell everybody what they don't tell you about marriage. You know, when you get married, everybody thinks it's going to be roses and you expect a little argument here and there, but you really don't know until you say I do. So every week, I'm going to have some of my good girlfriends come on and put everybody on to what to expect and what they don't tell you about marriage. So today, I have with me, I'm going to go into the order of how long they've been married. So first I have Paula Mills. She's been married for 23 years.
Yay. Hey, Paula.
Hey, George. Then I have Ashanti. She's been married for 5 years. And then we have our newlywed, Lisa, and she's been married for 1 year.
Yeah, girl.
Oh, and me, I've been married. Let me back up because I like to count from the time that we first started, right? So we've been together for 16 years, but married 6. Because, people don't like to add the collective. Like, they want to just start. That counts. I put in a lot of work. Them 10 years is a lot. So,
that counts.
Right. So 16 years, but we've been married for 6. Okay. So, ladies, here's some questions that I came up with because recently my husband and I went through a little actually it was pretty deep. So, and it involved sex, right? And me knowing, so when I first got married, I knew like, okay, you're supposed to have sex with your husband. Like, yeah, if you don't do it, then somebody else will. And I get all of that. But I didn't really understand the importance of it, right? Because at first, we had conversations about it and he's like, oh, this is a problem. We need to have sex more. And I'm like, I got like all these kids. I got a whole job. Right. I got a whole business I'm running. And then sometimes I'm tired, And then it started getting bad because then he was waking up with attitudes. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Like any little thing I do, he's like making it a huge deal. And I'm like, well, what the? Oh, in the world. Yeah. All right, I know what's wrong. I got to give him something. But then I'm like, but you got to. I know it was wrong, but I'm like, but you're not taking into consideration to all that I have to do as a wife.
Right.
So, that's why I started this because I was like, I didn't really understand how important it was. And I had some real deep talks with some of my good girlfriends, and they were just like, listen, you gotta do it. Like, it is what it is. I don't care what you gotta do. You have to do it. So my first question is, has anybody gotten advice when you got married? Did anybody get advice? Like, for instance, for me, the only advice that I got was like, don't go to bed married. I mean, don't go to bed mad, right? That's like the generic one. Right. And a good one was, listen, if he's working, let him work. Like, don't be the wife that nags. Oh, you don't spend enough time, blah, blah, blah. Because if he was spending a lot of time with you, that means he don't have nothing going on. And that's probably is broke. So that was that's the only like bit of advice that I got. So what are some advice that you ladies got, if any?
0. Look, there you go. You're on your own.
Right.
Good luck with that.
I mean, I've had some advice here and there. I think the number one piece of advice that stood out to me, which was very difficult for me to, execute, was keeping the peace in the household, right? So if I wanted to have, and this is how it is right now, like if I want to have like a day with my girls and, just have a weekend, just me and my ladies, it's like I have to make sure that my household is okay first, right?
Yeah.
So it's like getting up, making breakfast, making sure that he feels like he was paid attention to during the day so that I can have a relaxing day with my friends where I don't have to get the phone call with the attitude. Meanwhile, he can make himself an egg sandwich if he wants to. We're all grown, but it's like he wants that attention first. And then, you know, you can enjoy your friends in peace. So that was something that it's still taking me a little while to get used to because it's just like extra responsibility. And that's another thing that I've noticed since I've been married. It's like you have this idea that things will be easier. Right. And they are in certain aspects of your life because, you know, you live in New York City and that double income is pretty nice, you know, and having someone to pick up your son from school, like you get to have a conversation with somebody else to try to make things happen. Like that's amazing. But then it's like you are literally responsible and vice versa. He's responsible for me, too, but you're responsible for someone else's well-being. So being a single mom, I was a single mom for like 6 years before I got married. You know, we had our program, our system, and then someone else comes in the picture and I love him and he's great. But it's like, yo, like me and my son is good. Like what you about to do? Oh, I was supposed to ask you?
Right.
You know, it's like that type of shift in the relationship. So that's the advice that I got that I thought I knew, but I had no idea. Like it's definitely a responsibility to be somebody's wife. So, can you guys relate or not?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Just to go back, I was telling you ladies earlier, like for me, because I was a single parent for so long, well, for like 5 years. Yeah, 5 years, but I still, even though we lived together and then even after we got married, I knew that I wasn't a single parent anymore, but that I still thought I was a single parent.
Right.
Yeah. So when it came time to making certain decisions, like the schools, for instance, or whatever, I was always the hands-on. Let me go to the school. Let me go the first day of school, I'm going to meet the teacher.
Right.
And just this past year, our son went to school, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go to work late because I need to, meet the teacher. And I went to work, and my friend was like, you really didn't have to. I was like, well, he's not going to know what to say. He's not going to know what to ask the teacher.
Right.
And I'm like, she's like, yeah, he actually would.
Yeah.
Right,
so
right.
it was like things like that I had to, I'm still learning. Because I just told you that was just
the other day. Right.
Right,
It's hard letting go of responsibility when you are the person who's was the only person that was responsible.
Yeah. Right.
So that's my struggle, just letting somebody else helping me.
From being independent to a partnership.
Exactly.
Yes, you
From
said it well.
independence to being a part of a team. There's a big difference. And I think that's regardless of whether you have a child already or not. Just going from being an independent woman to now someone, like you said, that, decisions are being made together. Really everything, whether it's the household, in the household, outside of the household, everything is now just not about you, but it's about you and him. And, that's actually a blessing, and a curse. So it can be two-sided. So like Simone said, I was married for 23 years had my husband lived, but I was married for 18 years when my husband passed away.
That's a long time.
It's still a long time. And I miss marriage. I miss that partnership. And I think it's a hard transition. Like when you was speaking about the whole sex thing, and I think when you go from dating because I think things are different when you date. And I don't mean being like, oh, you're being fake and you're not being real, but I just think that the dynamics are different. And then especially when a child is thrown into it and then all these other responsibilities come into play, it's hard. I had a girlfriend and her husband said, what? It was a big thing in a lot of my friends' marriages, sex. And so you're talking about your 5 years, I'm talking about over 20 something years ago. It was a big thing then as well. And I remember my girlfriend's husband saying, why can you be the hoe that you was when we were dating?
Right.
Like she didn't want to have sex anymore. I mean, it was like we would all talk to each other and it would be the same thing. And I think when you're dating, you look forward to seeing that person, especially if you're not living together. So of course, when you get together, the intimacy is going to happen because you're excited about being together and seeing each other.
Right. But when you
Now,
see each other every day, you like,
every
oh
day?
God, you again
Right.
sometimes.
There you go. Right. Don't
Like,
tap me on my shoulder.
shoulder, please.
Right. Yeah.
I'm tired.
And like
I
you
gotta
said, it
go to work.
becomes so many
Right,
more
right.
responsibilities because now it's not just you. It's you, him, the kids. It's the household. It's the job. It's
Right.
And you're tired. And and I guess they get tired also. They don't ever seem like they get tired.
They wake up for that.
Never too tired for that.
Jesus.
Right.
Right. But also, it's a different dynamic in the house. Because you're the mother, so you come home, you're getting kids together, you cooking, you doing this, and they're sitting, relaxing. That's their downtime. And then when you want your downtime, they're like, excuse me, let's
Right.
go. And
Right.
you're
This
like,
is my downtime. That's
like,
not
can
what
I
I'm
get
doing
it? Can I get it 5 minutes, please?
Right.
Scratch my back. Do this, do that. Oh. Well, when do I rest? When you sleep, after you done got off, and then you sleep, and I'm like, all right, now.
And when you think about it in hindsight, it's really, you don't understand. I used to have conversations with myself because that was really the only thing we argued about. I had friends that were arguing about finances, looking for work, a whole bunch of different things. But for me, I didn't have those problems. Everything else was cool. But the sex was a problem. And it was just like, and I would talk to myself and I was like, he does this, he does that. He's deserving of it. Right. So you know that it's
right.
Yeah, I had those conversations with myself all the time. And I would say, tonight's gonna be the night. Tonight's gonna be, and guess what? If he went to sleep and he ain't asked for it, guess what?
Right.
You ain't asking.
Right. Yeah, give me right. Right.
So,
Yes.
but the thing is, you kind of say to yourself, I can do this, and he deserves this, and then the thing is, once it happens, like, I'm good too.
Right.
It's not like,
Yes.
once we into it, I'm happy.
Yes.
But
It's the getting there.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that was my main thing. Like I said, that's why I wanted to start this, because that was an issue. And obviously sex is a huge part of marriage.
Right.
And so I'm just like, for me, I just had one of my best friends I hear her sometimes saying, listen, your husband deserves it. It ain't gonna be, it's not gonna be a whole long time.
It's only 2 minutes out of your day. I didn't say she said it. Yeah, you gotta recant that.
Well, recant that, but listen, it's a little bit of time out of your day.
Right.
Well, whatever.
It's really not a lot.
We know what you mean.
But
We know.
It's not. It's not a lot to ask for.
Do that.
I can give that to him because that's what he wants. And like you said, it's not like I don't get
off.
I'm
Right.
not
Happy after.
I'm not
right. Yes.
Hi guys. Come
Yes.
in the next
Right.
morning.
Yeah.
But it's just like that.
Getting there.
Right. I think because it takes so much more for a female, and not all the time, but we have to warm up to it. It becomes like a whole mental thing for us, right? So where their day is done, they're in the bed and they're like ready, strong, ready to go. It's like,
Right.
well, let me get my mind right to be into this, and that takes energy.
Just your everyday is
how
hard.
much? What's a good sex life like?
how
many times per week on
One of my
average?
damn questions. No, please, yes,
Right.
because I need to know. It's 3
mark
times
it.
a week.
Check 1, 2, 3.
Like doing it
5 times a week.
I'm not a machine. I feel like that's a lot.
I think it's different for everybody.
So what's your number?
A number, girl.
First of all, what's a good healthy sex life for young people? What
I
you
have no
think?
idea. I always used to say maybe at least once a day. No,
once a day?
No, maybe twice a week.
Oh,
I think
twice a week.
Maybe
Okay.
I think I used to say once a week.
Okay.
Look, he would have been happy child once a month. It wouldn't even have mattered as long as he was getting some. But I guess it depends on you and your partner.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, girls, you don't want to look at it as it's a job.
Right.
It shouldn't be a task.
Yes.
It shouldn't be something that we're just trying to do for them. It should be something that we both want to do.
Right.
So I think that's where the hard part comes in. Because you shouldn't want to be like, I'm going to do this for him. You shouldn't have to have talks with yourself. It should be. You should want to be intimate with your spouse. You should want to be intimate with your significant other. We should both want that. But because of, like you said, different things that we go through, I guess, as women, and like you said, they work. But I think that for a man, and I think men think that with 9 to 5, it stops for them. We're not 9 to 5.
No.
Like our jobs may be 9 to 5, but then there's a second job that comes when we
come home
That's
to
a
do
whole
a
household.
whole nother
So
job.
that's a
It's
whole
homework,
another job that they just don't
It's
understand.
Right,
Yeah.
it's so much.
Homework,
So
a
it's
little bit
like,
of everything. Yeah.
right, exactly. So I'm just like, I'm still trying to work that out. Right. So how about love languages? So I posted on my Instagram about, oh, by the way, follow us on Instagram. It's What They Don't Tell You podcast. What They Don't Tell You podcast, because there's some other ones out there, but mine says podcast on there. But anyway, so I posted something about love languages because somebody else had posted and I thought it was good. It said, love your spouse in their love language instead of trying to love them in yours.
Yes.
So what do you guys think about love languages? Like, do you know your love language? And do you know more importantly, do you know your spouse's love language?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I mean, I know my love language and I know his. He's very affectionate and I'm not a very affectionate person. So sometimes he gets upset with me because he's like, all over me. And I'm like, come on, like, give me a minute. Right. Because in my family, we show affection by making sure that we, support. I'm there for you. Whatever you want, you got it. Whatever, just every day. And in fact, one thing that I try to explain to him is I'm not a cooker at all. Like, I hate the kitchen. To me, the fact that I'm in the kitchen trying to figure out what you want to eat, to me, should show you, like, all right, I'm trying and this is, but it doesn't click for him because I'm not like, hey, baby, all over. But that's just not how I'm shown. So I'm trying to work on that to be more affectionate. I mean, it's a struggle every day for me because in my family, we're not affectionate like that. It's different ways that we show it. So that's the struggle.
Maybe combine the two. I think sometimes it's about, now I can't think of the word. That's 51. Not the other C word, not communication. Compromise. So maybe while the rice is cooking, just screw them right quick on the kitchen table. I'm just saying. If you want to, maybe not screw them. You can just hug them.
Right. Just hug them. Right.
While the rice is cooking, just to combine it in some kind of way. Because at the same token, you don't want anybody to feel put off.
Right.
Just because it's not necessarily what you want. It's what he wants. So it's some type of compromise.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, just listen. Every day I'm like, all right, let me make sure he feels like I need him and I want him and I'm glad he's here.
Well, aren't you though?
Yes, listen, I wouldn't know what, like, I'm so happy with my husband. I mean, he irks me sometimes, but I love him to death. And sometimes it frustrates me because he doesn't understand how much I do love him, And I'm looking at him like, you don't think I love you? Or you nuts? Like, even my friends, like, she do a lot of stuff. Like, if you know what I know, Ashante that I know before, you don't realize how much you got her. Right. Because certain things that would have transpired, she'd be like, oh, Lord, that's what you're doing? Peace, dude, I'm out. Right. You know what I'm saying? So just the fact that I'm here and I'm working through this marriage, trying to make it better, to me, it should be like an eye-opener.
But that's your language.
I know.
It's not his. So you got to figure a little bit about his language, right? Yeah. So, but that's what we're talking about. That's what we're here for, right?
Right. Exactly. It's just, that's why I'm here, because, honey, I need help.
We all need help. For everybody.
Forever. Oh, my love language. Well, my love language is like praise. Like someone that's talking to you and telling you how great you are and you can do it, and wanting to listen to all the conversations that I usually have with myself. Just giving me that time and that space to get it out. Like, you don't even have to say much, but just let me get it out. Like, that's my love language, like the pillow talking and all of that. And his is just straight up sex. Like, just having, like you said, that affection, that touch, just feeling wanted. So it's so much conversation. Like, it's so much conversation for a woman because it's just, again, it's a lot of responsibility, especially when you have children, because it's almost like you have to make sure that everybody else is good for a happy household.
Exactly.
And for me, my love language, because it's that communication, that constant talking, I need to know that it's always worth it, with your words. Like, you can buy me this, we can have beautiful sex, but I need to hear it because I fall in love with my mind, like what I hear. So my husband, he's getting better with that, because I think he thought for a long time that my love language, and it's, it's just what it is, like buying things. Yeah, and I like that too. I do. I like that too. But
exactly.
Right. But I think the words. Like I need to feel like you thought about what you wanted to say to me. You know, like you're trying to express to me your love. Like that is amazing to me. And you know, I pretty much got his down pat. Like, just have sex.
A
lot.
Right. Oh my goodness. All right. So another question that I had was married people with single friends that are in the street. So like sometimes we have friends, right? And so everybody's friends is like who they are. I accept my friends for who they are. Some are homely and do what they got to do. Some like to run the streets.
Right.
And it doesn't make them a bad person. But how do you guys feel about that? Because I know for me, I have a certain set of friends that if I say I'm going out with them, it's
a problem.
No. One set, it's like, oh yeah, it's fine, no problem, you know, whenever. But then I say I'm going out with another set, and it's like, oh word, why you going there?
Right.
You know you married, right? Like, what you doing?
Right.
You know, and it's just like, I don't know how to, I'm learning how to balance that still. Because sometimes, not that I want to be single or I want to be out with them to do what they're doing because I have what they're looking for. But sometimes I just want a good ass time. And those friends are super fun, just like my other friends are super fun.
Right.
But you have different friends for different reasons. So how do you guys deal with that?
Well, I've been blessed to have friends I have married friends and then I have friends that are not married, but then I also have those friends that are not married understand that I'm married.
Right.
And know, like, I can't go out every time they go out that I won't be in attendance. So there's certain things that I'll be like, okay, I want to go to, like, they'll say we're going this, and this. You know, if you want to come, boom. I'm like, all right, so I'll pick, not so much pick and choose, but be like, all right, so I can't go out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, but I could go out maybe Thursday, Friday, or maybe Friday, depending on what it is. And he doesn't have a problem with that. And then my married friends, he could care less, because we all go out as a group. So I'm so happy that I do have friends that understand the dynamic, and they're like, oh God, you ain't going. He said you can't go, and this, that, and the third. So they kind of get it. And they don't really, they're like, listen, if you want to vent, I'll listen, but I can't give you no advice because I'm not married. So I'll listen, but that's about it. You may want to go talk to somebody who's married and understand what's going on. So we don't have too much trouble on that end. So it's pretty much, I can say okay with that.
Did you have friends in the streets?
Well, I am that friend in the street now. I just think that it's a matter of, it's not necessarily friends, it's about you.
Right.
And it's about having friends that respect your marriage.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter if they're single, there's certain things that you're going to do and not do. I mean, I can hang out with single friends. And of course, it's going to be vice versa. Because do you have a problem when there's certain friends of his that he hangs out with? And it could be, sometimes the married ones are the worst ones to hang out with. So don't sleep just because my friends are married.
That's right.
It's okay for me to hang out with them. Because little do you know.
They're good. They're okay.
Yeah. So,
My married friends are good, though.
yeah. But I'm just saying, again, it's about the people. It's not as deep as my married friends and my single friends, because like I said, everybody can have their dirt, their trash, whatever, but it's a matter of the people that you hang with having respect for your marriage and not belittling you because you don't want to do this or you don't want to do that, and and I think it's about the trust that you have for each other. So the thing is, you should be able to go wherever.
This is true.
My husband used to travel with his boys, and at the end of the day, it can happen around the corner. It can happen whether you go to another country. It just doesn't matter. If you're worried about infidelity or somebody cheating, you're a nice looking woman. He was attracted to you, so guess what? Somebody else is going to be attracted to you. And vice versa. If your husband is a nice looking guy or somebody that's interested, somebody's going to be attracted to him too. It's about the person. And and it's about you having respect for yourself and having respect for your husband and your marriage. So it doesn't matter who you're around. At the end of the day, it all comes down to you and the choices that you make. And so he needs to be secure, or you need to be secure as well, and enough in your marriage and enough within your husband and yourself to know that, like, I'm good. It doesn't matter if, we going out to happy hour every week and sister's in the bathroom again because somebody done drug it in there. Like, I'm going to wait for sister to come out and then we're going to go. But I'm not going in there with nobody.
Right.
So I think it's all on you.
Right.
Absolutely. I mean, just to echo again, it's, I get offended when my husband has a problem with any one of my friends that I'm going out with. I do get offended because it's like birds of a feather flock together. So if you think my friend is thotting and botting out there, like that was me and her before we got married.
Right.
So was I thought too? Like, because I roll with a certain caliber of women and we just not out here
Doing that.
Right.
Right.
Doing the
That's the
extra.
truth. Right.
So-
that extra stuff.
When he comes with the, oh, well, you're married and she's single. And it's like, sometimes, for me, especially now that I'm, a newly married person, a lot of my single friends want to go out to have the conversation, to just be like, well, like, how did you do this? Like, what did you change about yourself? Like, what was your thought? Like, how did it happen?
Right.
Because a lot of my single friends, they want to be in
They want to be
Right, exactly.
where you are.
Right. And they look at it and they look at it as something to aspire to be. So when they're coming at me like that, and then my husband is like, well, don't go out with her. And I'm like, yo, like she's really just bringing us up and wants to have a good time over drinks.
Or they don't realize that your friends are actually in their corner and don't want you to do.
Oh my goodness.
Because my friends would be like, don't even, she's married and keep it moving.
Girl, that happens to me all day.
Keep it moving. You see her ring, don't talk to her, keep it, let's go.
Right.
So
Exactly.
they definitely are in his corner 100%. And I'd be like, yo. But I mean, not that I'm going to do anything, but I'm like, oh, wow. Like, it's okay. I can handle it. Like, I'm not going to do anything that I'm not supposed to do. You'll never hear about something that your wife did in the street. Ever.
Right. Well. You hear that, babe? My friends are great. All of them. All right. So, another question. So, I posted this on my Instagram as well about Fantasia. So, Fantasia was on the Breakfast Club.
Yes.
Right? And she was talking about being submissive to your husband, and it was a whole dynamic. Like, a lot of stuff that she was saying, I actually agree with.
Okay.
I know one of the things she was saying was that a lot of us Black and brown people come from broken families, right? Like I said before, mothers never being married or being married but divorced, some type of broken family. So we really don't we only see the mother, for the most part, being the mother and the father, the husband and the wife. Like, the mother did everything.
Right.
So, and I think that's on both ends, And so I do think that, when she was talking about the submission part, yes, I think you should be submissive. My husband does not think that I'm submissive. I think all of my friends would say that I am. I think I'm
I think I am compared to what
I'm
I
very
could be.
submissive.
What I used to be.
Right, but he doesn't think that, and I'm just like, well, I'm just speaking my mind.
Right.
Like, I feel like I have an opinion, so I have my own mind, and I'm not going to agree with everything you say.
Right.
Absolutely.
I had to, but then he said to me, once I was arguing, he was like, you make me feel like I'm like you don't trust me. You, like I'm dumb or something. Like, I know what to do. I know what to say. Like,
It sounds like my
stuff.
household. Look, it sounds like my house.
And I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm not trying to make you feel like you're dumb. I don't think that you're dumb at all. I just think sometimes I think I can do things a little bit better. And maybe maybe I shouldn't think that way. So sometimes he still probably won't agree with this, but sometimes I'll be like, okay.
Right.
Me feeling like, I don't know if you should do that, but let me not
Say
say
not
that.
that. Oh,
because
yes.
if I say that, then
There's
it's
gonna
gonna
be like,
because so in any case, anybody hear the Fantasia
I didn't
interview?
hear it.
And if you did, so what are your thoughts?
I loved everything that she was saying. And, well, really, I loved everything that her husband was saying, more so than, because she wasn't saying much, during the full interview, not on the Breakfast Club. Like, the whole head and neck thing, I didn't like that metaphor, but I got it. It takes a very deep level of trust to be submissive to a husband, right? And I say this because when women are like, I could do everything by myself when they're in relationships before they get married, and even if after they get married, they didn't just get like that. You know,
Right.
they weren't just born like that. They trusted someone
Yep.
who let their hand fall. I don't know if y'all know what that means, but let their hand fall, like disappointed them. And now the wall is up, right? They don't want to be put back into that situation. So we can talk about, oh, just get over it. This man loves you. But this is like, it takes work. You know, it takes having these type of conversations. Thank you, Simone, to speak to other women to say, you know what, like, this is what I'm going through. And realizing that you're not the only one that's been going through this. To get to that level where you can say, okay, my husband loves me enough that I can trust him literally with my life and my children's lives. As far as the whole idea of being submissive where you don't have an opinion and you can't chime in and you just have to let him lead, that's where I kind of draw the line because I'm smart.
Right.
I'm smart. I've gone through things too. But the type of man, like my hubby, that I feel safe with is somebody that I can submit to. You know, like I feel that I can take a chance and like do something else, go after a different career, you know, ask his opinion because I know like if I trip, like he has my back.
Right.
A lot of people don't have that in their relationships. So it's hard to submit to somebody that you don't know if they're going to catch you if you fall. And like, what's her name? Who we talking about? Fantasia. Her husband was saying that he has like such a solid relationship with God. You know, like he wakes up, he prays, he asks for discernment, he does all of that. That's like a different type of mentality that I can feel secure in. You know, because it's not based on, okay, well, I'm lit right now because I got a job. It's more of a spiritual grounding. And I think that when you find a man that's spiritually grounded like that, it brings a different type of security. And that's all I have to say to that. And honestly, one more thing. The person that you're with, right? And I always say this, like that person, and maybe I'm digressing, but I tell my single girlfriends, like when you meet somebody and they're like, oh my God, this is the one. I can't even think. I'm like going crazy. He got to be the one. That's not the one. That's not the one. The person where you feel safe and secure and calm and you can be soft and feminine and just let things happen because he's leading, he's opening up. Like that's the person that you can submit to because he got you. All that crazy, oh my God, is he gonna text me? Like all of that, that's a lot of fluff. A lot of fluff. Who's gonna wipe your ass? When you can't?
Right.
You know, like that person is the person I want to submit to, not the one that makes me feel like I'm the baddest bitch. And like none of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I have to say.
Well, so you said a whole lot, and you know.
Right. Yes.
What about as far as submission, and I think it also is based on how you define submission.
Yes,
and I think the word submission, I think automatically has like a negative connotation to it. So we automatically feel like submit to nobody,
right?
You know, because you just think of it as being the weaker one and giving in, and it's not necessarily about that. So if somebody took away submission and said partnership or team, you know, we would feel different about that. We feel better about that. But I just think the word submission, because of where it's come from, it just has so many negative things. You just kind of feel like, you know, you get on the defense about it because it's like, I'm not going to be submissive to him or to anybody else, and vice versa. I just think that it's about letting a man lead, but it's not to say that you have to be the only leader. Just because he's the leader, that doesn't mean that you're the follower. You can lead together.
Yes. Well
you
said.
understand what I'm saying? So it's just like, I mean, this is a partnership. That's what it's supposed to be about. So now the thing is, he's going to come up with good ideas. You'll come up with good ideas, you know, and again, we go back to compromise. So it's not always about shooting down the ideas he has and vice versa, but it's about like, all right, babe, you know, that sounds like a good idea, but listen, let me add to it. Like, what about if we did this in addition to that? You know, because you want him to feel like, I mean, and again, it's all in about the way that they were raised as well. And, you know, the duties of a man and the responsibilities of a man. And that's come from within their own households as well as society and all of this other stuff where you have to do all of this in order to be a man, to where, you know, again, it's all about, like I said, defining the definitions of things. But I just think that, again, it's about a partnership, and it's a matter of just working together for a common goal. Because that's what it is. You're working together for a common goal. And the goal is to have a successful marriage, a successful relationship, and to know that it's not always going to be about what he does or what you do, but, about what you try and do together.
Right. So what, I get confused when people say, I'm going to let my husband lead. Like, I don't even know, like, what does that look like?
What does that mean?
Really look like?
Right. Because at some point we both have an opinion about something, and us saying what it is, we can kind of figure out together what would be the best road to do it. Of course, there's going to be things that he may be an expert at that you may not be. So just having a conversation and putting things on the table and then coming together as a team, I think would make things a little easier. And it's not so much you being submissive, but you feel like everybody feels like they had a part in making this successful. You know what I mean? As opposed to like, all right, I'll just let you you handle it because my grandparents, my grandfather was like did everything, and you look into my grandmother like, well, now he's going, now what? So it's like everybody else had to then now step up and take the lead. And she didn't really, not so much she didn't know what to do, but she knew that she had to make sure that the dinner was on the table, make sure that the kids was taken care of, and then once they got older, that the grandkids ate, and he brought the money, and she made sure the bills was paid. But that was like, that's not me. You know what I mean? Like, that's not me. And I have an opinion about what I think should happen. And we both work. So we both should have an opinion about something.
Somebody told these men
we both work.
Exactly.
And I don't just sit on the phone and jab my jibs. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
All day long.
I cannot stand what's for dinner.
Oh my goodness. That is the worst.
What is for dinner?
I don't know. What you cooking?
Tell me.
I'm sorry.
Can we let's have a conversation.
Exactly.
Like what do you
what would you want?
Like
or you get to
or when I ask, well, what do you want? And he's like,
I don't need anything.
And I'm like, that's a damn lie. Because if I came here
Simone,
and I made some damn shit,
you're a attack. Exactly.
It's not. If I made pork chops, you're gonna be like, well, what is that? I don't eat that. So
exactly. It's not
right. And it's like,
and that's where I get frustrated because my husband knows that I hate the kitchen. Hate it. Like I'll clean the house up and down. But cooking is, when I hit the lotto, that's the first thing I'm gonna get as a chef. Right. If I could have a house with no kitchen, I'd be okay. So, culturally where he comes from, his mother knows, like, he's Panamanian, so they know how to cook everything. Yeah. Excuse me, I don't know how to do any of that, but fry some chicken and make a lasagna. That's it. Like, this is the gist of it.
listen,
you know what I'm saying? Right. So when I ask you, which is my love language, what do you want, honey, to eat? And you be like, I don't know. And then I make something and you be like, him and my son, what is that?
Right.
Oh, I ain't eating that. Could we order something? So now I'm wasting my time making this meal that if you just would have told me what you wanted, then everybody be happy. Yeah, and then I got an attitude and I'll be like, well, fuck it, I ain't cooking no more of the week. That's it. Yeah. Right. It's a wrap.
Figure it out.
Right. Yeah. And then I'm the crazy one. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Yes. And what you said, we both work. I think that goes unnoticed because, yes, back in the days, the wife, they were home. Mm-hmm. You picked up the kids from the school. You washed them up. You did homework. You did all of that stuff or whatever. And it's like, yeah, you had time to do. The wife had and I'm pretty sure they had a problem with a bunch of stuff too. Right, exactly. But you just shut up because. Listen, he the one that's paying the bills. He's taking care of everything. So I'm doing my role, you doing your role. But now we got two roles. And I'm paying bills just like you paying bills. Right. And you ain't paying more than I am. Right. We paying bills together. So it's like, yeah, like I think I have a right to say. Yes. Now, I don't think you should do that. Right. That's not, don't do that.
That doesn't make sense.
Right, but that's not me telling you you're stupid or you don't know. That just means I just got my own opinion. And on top of that, like for me, in the very early in my life, my parents were together. They were married. They got a divorce. And then we went to live with my father. So my father was a single dad. And then for him, he drilled it into my head, myself and my sister's head, like, You be independent. You do not depend on a man. You get your own. And so for so long, it was so bad. He was like, don't ask for anything. It's so bad that I don't even know how to ask for help or for anything.
Yep.
Because he's always put it in my head. I don't think my sister got that, because my sister will be like, so you got that? Can I have that? Or whatever.
Right.
Like, she has no problem asking for shit. Right? So even for Christmas, like, she'll be like, oh, I want A, B, C, and D. And me, I'm modest. I'm like, I don't really know.
Right.
And then guess what? Nikki got all the shit she wanted.
And I
got this goddamn blue ass gift. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Because you ain't say what you wanted.
Right.
Exactly.
You know? And it's affected me to this day. So I think that also has a lot to do with it.
Absolutely.
That's what's drilled into our head, especially as women. Like Simone said earlier, the other Simone. She said one thing. She said that we teach our girls to be like this strong, independent. You have to be on your own. But then we baby
our sons,
our boys. And I think that that's true.
It is
you
true.
know?